Hello and welcome to Tuesday. It's been a rough day and well, let's talk about why. Um, so a couple of no, what? Yeah, yesterday evening, one of the things that I was doing was kind of like anticipating the celebration of the death of Nintendo's online services for the 3DS and Wii U. Those will be shut down. I believe the date is April 8th. So it's coming up very, very soon. And in preparation for that, I know I've been talking about playing a bunch of the Pokemon games that I've kind of neglected to play, specifically Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'm rushing through as fast as I can in those. And, well, not as fast as I can. I'm playing them a decent amount. And, I was confident that, I pretty much completely beat Pokemon X, and that's all done. Um, I had pretty much beaten Pokemon Omega Ruby. Pokemon Sun is completely done. Or not completely, but like mostly done. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon I have not touched at all. And that's kind of the last of the DS generation. I believe I didn't. I think I have Black and White. No. I have. I think I'm completely beat White 2. It's just Pokemon White that's um, not finished yet. So we'll get to those briefly. But one of the things that's neat about Pokemon X is that it came out around the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, the franchise. Back in 2016, they were running this whole year-long event where you could go, you can download and get, just Pokemon from the event. So this is Heart Gold currently in here. If I just remove this cartridge and then load up Pokemon X, and we'll see that pretty much all, like, I have so many of them Pokemon. And I still have two left to be claimed, Genesect and Volcanion, which I just literally go to the woman at the counter and then we say hi, and then she'll be giving us our event Pokemon. Um, so yeah, if I just run, for some reason it just always tells me communication error. I'll look into that. But like literally, I just talked to her. It's like, hey, I got a surprise for you. Your party's full. But if I go into my Pokemon box and then check, it still says someone's PC. I've never met that person. We have Darkrai, we have Mew, Keldeo, Jirachi, Shaymin, Manaphy, here's Mew, Victini, Arceus, Celebi. Um, I have a Zygarde in my party. I have a Meloetta in my party. It's just super, super neat. And I even have some of the stuff that it transfers from Gen 5 in here, which is like really cool. Like, I don't know where this Registeel is from, but it's it's from Unova. Registeel's from Unova. Like everything here, like I have two Genesect from Unova, um, Virizion, Terrakion, Cobalion, Heatran, Volcarona, Cresselia, Latias. Uh, just have a super cool like Regigigas, Kyurem and Reshiram, Dragonair, Sableye, a Spanish Piplup for some reason, Fracture. I have no idea where this. Maybe I just want to trade it a few times, but like, I have some like really interesting stuff here. Oh, and I have a Celebi that I got for connecting to Pokemon Bank for the first time. That was super cool. And I was like, okay, cool. So I've got these events claimed on Pokemon X. Might as well claim them on Pokemon Omega Ruby, right? So I take my Omega Ruby cartridge and I pop them in the 3DS, and that's odd. It's not appearing. Maybe if I just reinsert the cartridge a few times. That's still kind of odd. Well, I tested on all my 3DSs, so it must be something with the cartridge. So let's take a look. Let's try scrubbing these pins clean. So I did. And nothing. And I'm like, huh. okay, something must be going on with this cartridge. So I do some research, and it turns out that specifically Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and Persona Q cartridges have been known to fail for some reason. After doing a bit of research, um, it can be one of two things. Either the ROM chip itself is dead, or there is something going on with the solder pins. So, I do what any person would do. I open up the cartridge. Just all you have to do is really pop it off. And I took a look. And I'm not so sure how well this is focusing, but it looks pretty neat. And it looks pretty clean here. So after a little bit more of isopropyl and a little bit more scrubbing with a just a toothbrush that I had, I was like, okay, let's see if this works. And it didn't. So I'm like, stumped. What do I do? So at that point, I'm like, okay, let's figure out what else can be done. Um, the next thing would be to check the solder joints. I don't have a microscope or anything, and I don't really trust myself with that, so I figure maybe a heat gun, which is something I also don't own. Next best thing, a hair dryer. So I take some tweezers and a hair dryer, and I just start blasting the hell out of out of the what do you call it? Cartridge out of the chip, and from there it's just like, okay, cool, we're cleaning this, it's being done, it's all good. And then, you know, put it in the game in the 3DS, and still nothing. So I'm like, huh. So I call up a very local repair shop, and still there's like nothing that can be done. Like I have them go over, like, see if they see anything. I have them scrub it down. I have them resolder everything, apply some hot solder and everything, and just like see if anything happens. And nothing. So that means, unfortunately, my Omega Ruby is dead. And it sucks. Heartbreaking, really. Like I said, I got this pretty much on release, and it was such a amazing trip through Hoenn again. Being able to catch Deoxys, being able to ride on Latias and Latios was just so much fun. Being like, it was such a unique experience, and like, I remember when it came out, it was just like a life changing event thing where it's just like the games that I grew up with were now remade and remastered in beautiful 3D on a 3DS. And yeah, now it just doesn't exist. Had I known this would have happened, obviously I would have backed up the cartridge, backed up the save, and kept it. But who could have predicted this, right? It's been years since I played this, and I haven't touched it in a while, and I kept it in a game case that has other games in it, like, and this has 18. This stores 18 games, and all of these are fine. I only had issues with one that all I needed to do was just like reinsert it into the cartridge, and it, like, all of them were recognized immediately. That's the only one that's not recognized. Like, if I boot up some homebrew, is the cartridge still in here? Yes. If I boot up some homebrew, uh, it sort of recognizes that there's something in the cartridge. Sometimes it won't even do that, but like, if it does recognize something that's in the cartridge slot, it just doesn't understand what's there, and it sucks because, like I said, this was like a super important game back for the Pokemon 20th anniversary. My buddies and I back in college would, like, every uh, 3 months they would release a Pokemon, and we would all exclusively at GameStop, and we would all like drive over, get our Pokemon, visit the GameStop, and then right next door was a Buffalo Wild Wings. So we'd place our order, get our stuff from GameStop, and then get our food, drive back to college, and just have some Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch. And it was such a wonderful time, and like you can't really make memories like those anymore. Like everything is super online, and it's like you can't really go to like those GameStop distributions were so amazing because it was like really one of the first times I've ever done that. I never like Diamond and Pearl. I played so much of growing up, but that's kind of when I fell out of love with them. The series was what that those games, and while I eventually picked up the others down the line, I learned that my platinum is fake today too. That's a whole other thing, but at least it works. I'll have to order another one, but those are pricey at the moment, and they're only going up, so I should pull the trigger sooner rather than later. Um, yeah, I got back into the series with Black and White 2, and that's the Pokemon that you saw here, right in box 4. Like, all these are Pokemon from Black and White 2. I think. I have no idea where this Blaziken is from, but, like, you know. Um, it's just like I have all these super cool little guys, and now I have now they're just like gone from here, and it sucks. Um, I can still like it's not a huge loss. Like it's heartbreaking in the moment, but I can replay the game. And thanks to the wonders of homebrew and modern technology, I can literally take the mystery gifts from this save file on Pokemon X and inject them into Pokemon Ruby or Omega Ruby, and it'll be like nothing changed, and it's gonna be wonderful, and it'll hopefully solve all my issues. But that's ooh, that's gonna be a whole thing. So we'll see what happens there. Um, I'm gonna really push to beat these games as soon as I can. I know I've got a little something going on in April, but um, I really wanted to try and get this done. And if I miss my deadline, I miss my deadline. Uh, Still, this is gonna be my goal for the next month or two. Um, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. We'll see how far I get, and that's gonna be really cool. So what can be said? This is a very long video, and we're still gonna keep going for a little bit. But um, first of all, check all your cartridge-based games. If they have a save on them that still works, preserve that save. With the thanks of 3DS Homebrew, you can literally rip the ROM and the save file off of any DS or 3DS game. With a tool like the GB Operator, you can do that for your Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance series of systems. Um, Hopefully all your consoles are fine. Nintendo's a big one, but like hopefully if you have some way of preserving your cartridge-based handhelds, pretty much everything is digital for nowadays. So like cloud saves or back up those saves somehow. Like I have a Google Drive folder filled with saves of games that I've beaten, and I will be updating that like tomorrow, ripping all of my cartridges that have saves and just preserving them for time. It'll be fun. It's gonna be a lot, and it might be heartbreaking to find out that a game that I've truly loved and put thousands of hours into might just be gone. This is the only case that I think will be happening. I've tested a bunch in the past, and hopefully these are all fine. But please try and preserve it. I ordered another copy of Omega Ruby, and it should be here sometime this week, if not next. Um, $25 on eBay, right? So we got lucky there. So it'll be fine. I'll replay it on that. Hopefully that cartridge works, and I'll be backing up the save pretty often there. Um, an argument can be made for like piracy and whatever, but I will. This is not the time and place for that, despite my arguments. Like I bought the game, the cartridge died for no reason. Am I entitled to find a digital copy somewhere? I ordered another one because I'm a collector of that. We'll talk more about that down the line when I will be able to rant about it for a while. But yeah, this has been a whole ordeal. Hopefully, I'll be able to manage that. I'll probably be using this 3DS. Like I said, it's not even detecting a cartridge name anymore, which is super super unfortunate. So boot up into Mega Ruby. I'll probably set the date to like the day of release, and that'll be so much fun. And then we'll talk about what is it? Just like going into there and like restoring the events and whatnot, and it'll be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for that. It'll be super unique, super interesting, and we'll see where that goes from there. Regardless, this has gone on for way too long, and it can go on for longer, so that's where I'm gonna call it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, later.